I got to the hospital late. Not because I wanted to be. Marcus said Mom wasn't critical, just tired. She's resting, he'd said that morning, pouring himself coffee like it was any other day. The nurse at the desk flinched when I asked for Evelyn Lowell. Ezra Colt, her doctor, stepped out from a side hallway. He avoided my eyes. She passed 10 minutes ago, he said flatly. I didn't get to hold her hand. Didn't even see her face. All I heard was the tone. The one hospitals use when a heart flatlines. From the hallway, Marcus pushed a clipboard at me. She wanted no extraordinary measures. Sign here. It's just protocol. I signed with a hand that didn't feel like mine. She died surrounded by liars, not me. That's what stuck in my throat as they wheeled her away behind double doors I wasn't allowed through. It was quiet. Even the machines seemed ashamed. They took her from me before she was gone. At the funeral, I sat alone in the back. Every pew up front was filled with Haverfords and their plastic condolences. Not a single one turned to look at me. Veronica wore black silk and a smile. She spoke from the pulpit like it was a stage. Evelyn was a pillar, a devoted wife, a woman of grace. No mention of her only daughter, not even a breath. When it ended, I moved forward. Slow, measured, like I didn't notice the eyes tracking me. I just wanted to touch the casket, to say goodbye. Blythe blocked me with a whisper that sliced. You're not part of this family. Not now. Not ever. Marcus stepped in like a bouncer at a nightclub. Respect her wishes, Arya. She made her choice. A neighbor lifted their phone. I saw the screen reflect my face. Red, tight, shaking, but I didn't care. They buried her and erased me at the same time. The front door wouldn't open. My key clicked, but didn't turn. Blythe cracked it open just enough. You need to leave. Dad says this isn't your home anymore. A cardboard box thudded onto the porch. Marcus stood behind her, dry as ever. Inside was a sewing kit, and a scrap of cloth with my name stitched in Evelyn's cursive. Arya, love, Mom. It was raining. Of course it was raining. My suitcase soaked through before I could lift it. Veronica stood at the upstairs window, wineglass tilted, mouth curved. A car idled by. That same neighbor. Watching again. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. Didn't beg. I turned. I left. Because sometimes leaving is the only way not to break in public. The motel smelled like bleach and regret. I peeled off my wet hoodie, dropped the sewing kit on the chip table. The cloth scrap clung to my fingers like a ghost. The kit popped open. A tiny blue envelope slid out. My phone buzzed. Notification from a number I hadn't seen in days. Evelyn Lowell. Stay silent, it's Mom. I froze. Inside the envelope was a voicemail chip and a torn piece of what looked like a legal document. Half a seal, a date, part of a signature. I plugged the chip into my phone. Her voice filled the room. Warm, clear, edged with fear. Arya, if you're hearing this, they're watching. Don't trust them. Not even Rowan. Rowan? Childhood memories hit like bricks. Evelyn whispering bedtime stories, laced with odd phrases. Codes. Training I thought was just mother-daughter play. She wasn't being paranoid. She was preparing me. I looked at the cloth again. The thread uneven, like it was sewn fast in panic. They erased me from the house, but not from the truth. I shoved the envelope into my jacket. The motel door clicked shut behind me. All night, I sat on the edge of the bed, playing Evelyn's voicemail on loop. Every time, her voice hit differently. Not just what she said, but how she said it. Tight, precise, calculated. My mother had been dying, but her mind? Sharp as ever. I turned the volume up, trying to isolate the faint background noises. A chime, soft but distinct, like a desk clock. No, not just any clock. I remembered that chime. From her study. The one she stopped using after she remarried. Nobody went in there anymore. Digging through the sewing kit again, I felt something loose under the fabric. I cut a seam open. A micro SD card slipped out. The motel manager hesitated when I asked to borrow a laptop. 15 minutes, he muttered, handing it over. Inside the card, a fragmented video file. 2 encrypted documents. The video was shaky. Evelyn, wearing the cardigan she stopped wearing last spring, speaking directly into the camera. They think you'll walk away. Prove them wrong. No date stamp. Just her voice, commanding from beyond. I called Miriam. She didn't hesitate. We met at the old Veterans Park just outside town, where my mother used to walk after Sunday services. Miriam watched the video twice. Her hand trembled. That's her. And it's recent. Her tone, her face. Arya, she wasn't dying. Not like they said. I nodded slowly. She recorded this after they claimed she was bedridden. Miriam looked at me. Then that means someone moved her. The pieces were unraveling. Dr. Ezra Colt answered on the third call. This isn't safe, he said, but he agreed to meet me, only briefly. We sat in his parked car, windows fogged. I reviewed her discharge files, he said, voice low. They don't match the hospital's records. Different ID numbers. And her signature, it's off. So they moved her. I believe she was transferred, possibly to private care, off the books. I thanked him. He gripped the steering wheel like it might save him from drowning. That night, Rowan called. Can we talk? He asked, voice softer than I remembered. He found me on the street near the diner where Mom used to take me after exams. He looked tired. I never trusted Marcus completely, he said. I didn't agree with how he handled things. Here. He handed me a folded printout, a legal memo. It confirmed what I feared. Marcus had changed the executor of Evelyn's estate just 5 days before she died. No witnesses. No notary. Why are you helping me? I asked. I don't want lies to win, Rowan said. But later that night, my phone rang again. No caller ID. You're trusting the wrong brother, the voice said, and hung up. I didn't sleep. Clara's voice on the phone was weak. They broke and didn't take anything. Just papers. I rushed to the hospital. Her face was bruised. One hand bandaged. They wanted her desk, she whispered. But they missed it. Arya checked the quilt. Evelyn stitched truth. I didn't understand until I got to Clara's house. The sewing room was untouched, and on a chair, folded neatly, was the quilt Evelyn had spent months making last year. I laid it out. The patches were stitched with names, places, nothing stood out, but on the edges, numbers. Tiny, faint, like verse numbers. Then it clicked. She used scripture as a cipher. I translated it one piece at a time. The verses spelled a location, the study, her favorite book, voices that vanish. I pulled the book from the shelf, hollowed out inside a flash drive. I pressed it to my chest like it was a heartbeat. Back at the motel, I found my door slightly ajar. Inside, chaos. My suitcase gutted, clothes slashed, the laptop shattered, but the drive was still on me. I'd worn it like a locket. This wasn't about money anymore. This was a war. The burner phone buzzed once. Then again. Meet me, the text read. Train station. Platform 3. Lyle Vexler waited on the bench, trench coat buttoned high. He looked like a ghost pulled back to the living. I owe her, he said, and I owe you the truth. He handed me a small box. Inside a thumbprint key. It unlocks a vault. Evelyn left it with me. But understand, what's in there doesn't just destroy Marcus. It stains the whole family. What does it cost me? Your last name, he said. I stared at him. Then it's a fair trade. The vault was hosted on an offshore digital server. I accessed it from a terminal at the public library. Evelyn's face filled the screen again, clear, lit by candlelight. He threatened me, she said. Marcus said he'd destroy you. Said no one would believe a dying woman. so I gave him what he wanted on paper. She paused. But Rowan was the one who filmed this. So if you're watching it, he gave you the last piece. My stomach turned. I walked outside. The air was cold, crisp, honest. I pulled out the photo I kept in my wallet, the family crest, burned it with a match from the motel. They buried her once. I won't let them bury her truth. The iron gates of the Haverford estate creaked open as I stepped out of the cab. The gravel crunched under my boots, a reminder that I was walking into enemy territory. Marcus had planned this reading as a spectacle. He always did know how to dress betrayal in velvet. The invitation read, "A moment of healing and closure," but I knew better. This was his theater, and I was the disruption. I arrived 10 minutes late on purpose. Nothing in my hands but Mom's old phone and the flash drive hidden in my coat. The foyer was flooded with warm light and wine glasses. Suits whispered in corners. People I hadn't seen since I was a child, now looking at me like I was the ghost Evelyn left behind. Marcus stood tall in front of the fireplace, nodding as the lawyer began reading. The will had been scrubbed clean. My name didn't come up once. Veronica caught my eye, then leaned in, her breath sour with gin. "You're just here for the ashes, aren't you? Too bad they're cold." I smiled, quietly started recording on my burner phone. This wasn't grief. This was documentation. The lawyer finished. Applause of all things. Marcus beamed like a man who'd just crowned himself king. I stepped forward. "No," I said. "It's not finished." Heads turned. I walked to the media console and slid the drive into the port. The screen above the mantel flickered. Static. Then Evelyn appeared. She looked. Awake. Clear-eyed. Not drugged. Not fading. "If you're seeing this," she began. Then Marcus did what I feared. He took my voice. Murmurs rose like steam. I was coerced under morphine. He made me sign over everything, while I begged for my daughter. Gasps. Shuffling. Marcus stepped forward, then froze. Evelyn continued. "Veronica knew. And Blythe, you delivered the papers." Veronica stood, pale, lips trembling. "Turn it off," she snapped, rushing forward. But Ezra blocked her, gently pushing her back. "This is Evelyn's truth," he said. A woman near the back stood silently, scribbling notes. Avellini Porter, family law judge, uninvited, but clearly expected by someone. Marcus moved to the front. "This is fake," he said. Evelyn wasn't lucid. Everyone knows she was delusional. Lorna Vexler, seated by the French doors, stood and held up a folder. "These are Evelyn's certified medical logs," she said. "Evaluated 3 weeks before her death. Lucid, uncoerced, signed by 3 witnesses." Blythe screamed, "You traitor!" and shoved Rowan. "You gave it all away for what? Her forgiveness." Rowan didn't answer, just looked at me. I knew. Judge Porter cleared her throat. An emergency injunction is in effect. All assets are frozen pending investigation. Marcus lost it. His calm snapped like glass under heat. "You think any of this holds? This is hearsay from a corpse." Veronica sobbed behind him. She couldn't let it go, she said. She was poisoned by grief. She was obsessed. I walked back to the console, pressed play one last time. Evelyn's voice, quieter now, closer to a whisper. Silence protects no one. Not anymore. No one moved. Outside, the wind had picked up. Reporters gathered near the gates. I faced the cameras. "I won't claim anything from the estate," I said. "I'm starting a legal fund for women forced into silence. That's what my mother wanted. She didn't fight for legacy. She fought for truth." Clara, leaning on Miriam's arm, smiled softly. "We'll help," she said. Rowan was gone, disappeared before the ink dried. Left a note in the back seat of my rental car. "You did what I couldn't." The video of Evelyn went viral overnight. Strangers left flowers at the clinic she'd once donated to. Comment sections lit up with memories of her generosity, her strength. Weeks later, I returned to her garden. The wind was quieter now. I laid the quilt under the tree, the one she embroidered, stitched with codes and care. I sat down beside it. She didn't die with her secrets, I whispered. She lived them into me. The breeze picked up again, but it didn't feel cold. Later that night, an envelope slid under my door. No return address, just a note inside. Your mother wasn't the only one they silenced. Ready for more? The handwriting was familiar, but it wasn't Evelyn's.